Hello and welcome to Lunch Therapy. I'm your host, Joel Marshall. This is Interview Friday. Lunch Therapy is a show that happens on Tuesdays and Fridays at noon. Tuesdays we have a game show and we have some news, happy news in the world. We try and stay away from any kind of politics. And we just have a great time with a bunch of comedians. Sometimes we bring on comedians. Sometimes we do stand-up in the show. Sometimes we do stand-up in front of a giant giraffe or something, whatever we want to do. Fridays, Interview Friday today. We got a great guest. We've got Meryl Klemow on the show. Thank you to Ginny Sykes out there who hooked us up with Meryl. She's a fantastic comedian. She's a podcaster. She's going to give us some of the secrets of Hollywood and being a big, podcasting star. Hoy, Kamala Lopez is here. The hummingbirds are starting to show up. Richard, great to see you. Hoy, you're in the nest. I'm so glad to see you here, Richard. Hoy, Guignel. Is there comedy around here? There's going to be comedy coming at you right away. Let's get into the show. It's called Lunch Therapy. Boney, hit it. All right. Ginny Sykes says, Meryl is stranger than I am, but in a good way. That's excellent. That's what we need. Stranger. I don't know if stranger than Ginny. A little disturbing, perhaps. These are the Patreons down below. Thank you, Patreons. In this world of independent media that we're in, it can be a real jungle out there, and we need to have some support because we don't have necessarily the infrastructure that other people have, but we do it anyway. We push ahead, and these are the people that help push ahead. Neil, Guignel, Seth Word, Jason Edelman, Mary Marks, Kamala Lopez, Robert Lopez, Liz Lopez, Mike Knox, Howard Aronin. Howard Aronin's in the house. I performed with her in Ventura. She's so funny and cute. I wonder if she has any weird stories about you in Ventura. How is it even possible that she's weirder than Ginny? I think Ginny's got a strange perspective on it. Heard your funding got cut. Yeah, they're cutting my funding. All that money that I was getting from the government is now being cut off. So people go to patreon.com/Joel Marshall. Give till it hurts, till it's so painful that you have to have like your leg amputated or something like that. No. Just give us, $500 a month. Seems good. All right, let's do this thing. We're going to breathe. I'm going to help you. This show gives back to the community, the hummingbirds. We're going to breathe, and you'll thank me. You'll thank me for this. I didn't do any kind of advertising for what I'm doing coming up, but on Tuesday at 8 o'clock at the Dime Bar in Fairfax. This is a place where my guest has played as well. I'm going to have to ask her. I'll be doing some stand-up comedy. Plus today at 2 o'clock, if you're crazy, you can go over to the Fourth Wall. I'm going to be doing some open mic stuff. Very controversial topics, not like on this show. Okay, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Meryl's in the green room with Boney. They're breathing along. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. I think they're breathing. Is that... I don't know. It's hard to tell with Boney. He's got no lungs. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. And let it go. Behind me is the Tibetan bowls of healing vibrations. A little fire going there. Lighten your fire. let's get into this thing that we call Lunch Therapy Interview Friday. Without further ado, all right, Meryl Klemow is my guest today. She is a versatile comedy writer. She's a writer, not just comedy. She writes. She's a podcaster. She's a stand-up comedian. She's known for her engaging stand-up comedy, which she performs at venues such as the Comedy Store, the Improv, Flappers. Her comedic talent has also been showcased at festivals like the Burbank Comedy Festival, the Hell Yes Fest in New Orleans. I like that. And the Femme Festival in San Antonio. In addition to her stand-up career, she's a prolific podcaster, and she contributes to various publications, including the LA Girl, where she serves as the lead lifestyle contributor. So you're going to learn some stuff about your lifestyle today. And her podcasting work spans multiple popular shows such as Dumb Blonde and Purely Elizabeth. She has a podcast that she had for, I think, 5 years called Campfire Shtshow with Beau, Hufford. And she has another one called Thirsty Topics. She's a big animal person. We love that here at Lunch Therapy because we're big animal people. Some of us are big animals even. She has unique experiences with animals like feeding bears and cheetahs, and she has petted a rhino, maybe even 2. She really wants to pet a baby elephant, though, so we're going to have to see if we can make that happen. Originally from Scranton, Pennsylvania, she graduated from the S.I. Newhouse School of Communications at Syracuse University. That's where I was born. And her dynamic career in entertainment and media continues to thrive, making her a prominent figure in the comedy and podcasting scenes. So, ladies and gentlemen, Interview Friday.
I'd like to introduce you to Marinated Cheese.
Hey, what's up? I'm Meryl. Nice to meet you.
So research is identified.
All right. I love that. I was watching that last night at like 2:00 in the morning, and I just about fell over. I was laughing out loud. Welcome to Lunch Therapy, Meryl.
Yay! Thank you.
So
Hi, hummingbirds.
So great to have you here. Thanks to big shout out to Ginny Sykes for hooking us up here. We're a couple of podcasters, a couple of comics. So I think we have a lot to go over. I do want to talk to you first of all about might be a strange topic, but communication school.
Yes.
You went to communication school in Syracuse. What do they teach you now in communication school? And can you teach me some of it? Because I have no idea what I'm doing.
When I went to school, seriously, it was like there's this thing called Napster, and Facebook was just developing. It was when we were like all using LimeWire to burn CDs. So I also feel like the year that I graduated was like the year that everything turned around. No one cares literally that I went to a communication school.
That's hilarious. Ginny Sykes says she petted elephants at a sanctuary.
Oh my gosh.
She's bragging.
I went up her. I love Ginny so much that I'll allow that. But I saw her comment before, and I feel like I might be stranger than her, but I love that she accepts me.
Both of you are
love her so much.
Definitely odd. Rhinos love belly rubs. So there you go.
I want it. But I would kind of fear that they would, this is getting weird already, but I would fear that they would get aroused from a belly rub. I don't know why, but I could just see that happening.
They might, but I don't know. What are they going to, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Hi.
Holy, got any ducks? He says. Danielle says.
Oh, I wish, but also Ginny, not to bring up Ginny every 5 seconds, but Ginny loves ducks, and Ginny used to own ducks as well, if you don't know that already.
Oh, we're well versed in Ginny's love of ducks. No, actually, we had Ginny on early on in the show. The show's been on for a while, and she talked all about ducks, which is fantastic. And we also have our favorite duck joke. Do you know any duck jokes, by the way?
No, is it about them like paying the bill?
I'm not going to tell the joke right now because it is just, I have told the joke so many times. This is about you, Meryl. It's not about our duck joke.
Damn it.
Do it, Joel. No, maybe later.
Yeah, If I start getting boring, just cut me off with another duck joke.
Yeah, we'll just segue.
Also, this podcast is so cool. I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park, like AI or something. I'm very impressed.
Thank you. It's going to get even weirder and weirder.
Let's get weird.
Let's get weird on this show. I want to ask you also about podcasting because I've been podcasting since 2005 and I have no idea what I'm doing. And sometimes I just feel like I'm insane. Can you tell me how you got into podcasting and what some of your secrets to podcasting are?
Yes. Well, I'm with you too. I feel like every year it just gets more and more insane, right? But with the animal control radio quote is for rhino. It's like horny. I don't know.
That's something about horny.
Bad rhino puns or something. Yeah.
Horny rhinos. It sounds like a improv troupe.
It really does.
Yeah.
Hippopotamuses. So yeah, I started working full time in podcasting 2017. I was working at a music venue in San Diego and called the Belly Up. And I was very lucky and the owners were so nice and let me start the podcast for that music venue. So I got to podcast with my first podcasts were with Mick Fleetwood.
That's what I heard. Mick Fleetwood and Jimmy Buffett.
It was crazy. I had the beginner's confidence, and I'm like, okay, CeeLo, let's sit down and talk a while. And then Robert Cray, true music legends. It was really amazing. I think that might still live on the website today. It was called What's Up at the Belly Up. And then I loved the art of podcasting so much that I left the venue and went full time and started working with people and producing their podcasts. And same thing, I think I understood it up till about the pandemic. And then I think now it's back to video, which is so funny that we all escaped podcasting to get more into audio. And now it's and then it's unless you're a full-fledged celebrity, most of my clients get downloads that are 50 episodes, 50 downloads a week or something. So it's really hard to make a living as a podcaster. Yeah. That's why I do a lot of other, I write for people, I help produce their podcast. So I'm kind of on both ends of things.
I want to ask you about that, but first I want to say, what was Mick Fleetwood like? What's he like?
So nice, unbelievable.
Really?
I feel like maybe him and I caught a vibe together. I feel like he was going to be a rhinoceros pretty soon.
I love that though, because he's such a character. I remember him having these drums strapped to his chest.
Yeah.
Remember that? And he stands up and he's just such a character.
He's so tall and commanding. That was one too that his publicist during the interview, slipped us a note that said don't bring up something. And of course, we're in the middle of interviewing, so all I could see was him going to Catholic school or something. And so I immediately
the elephant in the room, the rhino in the room.
Totally, but he smelled really good, and he was so open and nice. And from what I hear, it's not every day that he does a big sit down, long form podcast interview. So looking back now, a decade or two later, I realize how lucky I was and how nice it was to be able to have these longer conversations with musicians who don't always sit down and talk to people.
Were you a big music person? What made you go there? You were a big fan of music.
Yeah. Honestly, I was just thinking about this this week where I feel like music influences me even more than stand up, or it's probably my favorite art. I feel like I'm always a music girl.
Well, people always, sometimes I think it's the most direct form of art. Somehow, because it just because you can actually even feel it, music when you turn it, play it loud, and it goes kind of directly into your brain. And I think there's nobody that doesn't like music. There are people that don't like stand-up comedy.
Sometimes I'm one of them. Totally.
Well, I don't like. There's a lot of music that I don't like, but just in general, they're if you ask somebody what kind of music they like, they either say I like everything, or they say I like classical or whatever, but they never say, oh, I don't like music.
Or you just haven't discovered. Yeah, honestly, when I was 14 or 15, I discovered the band Live from Pennsylvania. And that was such a turning point in my life because I would study the liner notes of CDs. And then I really decided I wanted to work in the music industry one day. And that's what led me to go to Syracuse and work at the music venue. And so yeah, I feel like very influenced by like Alanis and Tori Amos and Natalie Merchant.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love like I'm definitely stuck in the '90s a little bit still. With
I
my
love
fans.
Tori Amos too. I haven't seen her in a
Oh,
long
she's so
time, but
cool.
I used to listen to her constantly because she's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I go see her at the Greek Theater, and it's so funny because there's different like Tori Amos avatar girls where there's like the goth girls are meeting up with the hippie girls.
Oh, really?
Like,
There's like
yeah,
she's got an eclectic fan base.
yeah, and we're all a little screwy. I feel like Tori definitely is the Pied Piper of like weird, broken women. I love it, and I go by myself. It's like my version of a spa.
Oh, that's fantastic. When you started doing podcasting, when was it?
At the Belly Up, probably like maybe 2014 or 15, I think.
Oh, okay. And how do you generally do it? Do you like do it remotely? Do you do it in the same room with people? How do you generally do it?
I'm like a big in the room. Like this is awesome. Exactly. What happened? So
All the
is it okay if
film-
I look at the comments?
Yes, of course. You can do
Yeah.
anything. You can do anything you want on this show.
Because I feel like, especially in the '90s and 2000s, like all the Liz Phair and those type of women, they're all gorgeous, but it wasn't like about that. It was more about the music too. But
I listened to
I'm
this
also-
podcast with you talking about Rihanna and talking about the
Oh God, she's in the Illuminati.
the Illuminati. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, I can't even take it. Like any Beyonce content, I just mute because I don't want to be like infiltrated with whatever demons.
You think she's got some kind of demons? She sold her
I can
soul.
tell.
She sold her soul
Katy
to.
Perry is like slowly getting her soul like sold to Tulu or something. But
Sorry,
I love being.
yeah,
No, I love it. I love
distracted
being
you.
in the room with people. Like when it's a situation like this. This is so well done, and I
thanks.
feel like we're connecting in real life. But
Yeah.
like, when we can, I love being with people.
Being in the same room with them. Yeah.
Yes, and I don't like when people bring like have their fiancés or like like an extra person just sitting watching. I don't know if you've ever had
No,
that.
I have
It's,
never
like,
had
so
that
weird.
before.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people like they have to have their emotional support person just like sitting and watching, and it's so weird.
Apparently, there's some controversy about Bill Belichick and his wife, or his
I don't know that.
his significant other. That he was being interviewed, and she was sitting in the back, saying, whatever, telling him what to say. But I don't know
my
if it's true or
God.
not. I just heard that secondhand, but it's just funny thought, and I was like, well, if that's what he likes, that's what he likes.
Yeah.
Kamala says, absolutely right, Meryl. We are self-exploiting at this point because the society is so misogynistic. It's disturbing. That's quite interesting. I'm going to play a clip now. This is a weird one. Another weird one. I like
Is it
your
self-exploiting?
yeah. It is some self-exploiting.
Hope your favorite drink is always miraculously in your refrigerator.
Well, I hope you win the lottery 2 times. And on the way to get your earnings, a puppy comes up and kisses you right on the lips.
It's so weird.
I love that. Now that video's up to 3 views.
Yeah, right. We got it. I really
much.
no, but it's up to 3 views.
Yeah. 3 views. Yeah, I love on TikTok it was a trend where people were like aggressively wishing each other positivity, and I love that so much. I need a little bit of like aggression and everything.
Oh, I need that too. So when you started doing stand-up, when was that? Was it recently or? Oh, it was right at the beginning of the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was kind of doing everything. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. Where like I was, I was doing it. I was doing everything but that. I was doing San Diego radio, podcasting, writing, and then I always knew that for me, stand up was kind of like the piano version, where it was like the main thing that I should do and like kind of the DNA backbone of it. But I just was taking my sweet ass time. And I had a lot of friends in San Diego that did stand up, and they were all like so encouraging and so nice. And got to see their experience. And then I took the Pretty Funny Women class in 2019, and then our first show was like late February 2020. And it was like that week that we were all laughing and like coughing on the microphones, being like,
Right, haha, making jokes about it. People would wear gloves, like plastic rubber gloves, and little did we know that was going to get really serious.
Exactly. So yeah,
Spray the microphone.
Yeah, and I didn't do any of the like perform at car drive.
Oh yeah, that was kind of cool. That was cool.
I know. I did 1 or 2 Zoom shows during the pandemic, but I was secretly reading off of my Word document the whole time.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. If you can do it, you could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got the bug, and then all of a sudden you had to like go inside and just ruminate on it for a while.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. Like sometimes I get down on myself because I feel like I don't have the insane like stand up drive that I feel like other people do. Where like I have some friends that are like, I have to go up, and even if it's at like a pool party, they want to perform stand up, and I just don't have that inner like whatever. But I
Yeah.
love doing it, and I feel like the more I do it, the more I like slowly fall in love with it. It's definitely like a slow burn for me.
Yeah, well, it's different for everybody, you know. Like Guy Rubin was telling me that he was working for a solar company, and he decided to he's told his boss, "I want to do a show for everybody who works here." I would never do that. I would never do comedy at my workplace. They'd just be like, I mean, it just sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Oh, Howard says, "Were you named after Streep?"
I love Howard so much.
Yeah.
No, I was named after my cranky Aunt Miriam, and my parents were. It was either going to be like Caramel, which I kind of wish that I was a stripper named
That'd be
Caramel,
good.
or my parents went after Meryl.
Yeah.
So
You could
yeah,
always
but
make
my-
your
yeah.
last name Caramel, and then that would be impossible to
Meryl
say.
Caramel. Maybe that's a good name.
It'd be impossible to say. It's like rural juror. It's just it's impossible to say. Meryl
But
Caramel.
I did just recently go to there was an event in San Francisco that's called the Meryl-thon, and it was like it drew together Meryls from all over the world, and we've heard that Meryl Streep knows about it, and maybe next year she might send a video in. So
Ah, that's cool. Well, it's a great name for a comic, Meryl. 'Cause it's
Meryl.
merriment, Mary.
I feel very much like a Meryl.
Yeah. So, did you during this time during the pandemic? Did you take classes and do that kind of thing?
No, I really spiraled and I became like a full-fledged conspiracy nut. Not the kind that we're thinking conspiracy nut, but
Yeah.
like no, I think I just went on walks a lot in San Diego, and I feel like I get very sensitive too in terms of like I really didn't like the part of the pandemic when people were fighting a lot over the massive vaccines, all that kind of stuff, and I feel like it like affects me a lot just to go online and see like people I love fighting with each other.
Oh,
and
isn't
this,
that the worst?
So, yeah. So I felt like I felt like a little bit definitely was in like fight or flight mode, whether I recognized it or not. And so I don't feel like I was very forward with my comedy at that time. But once I like thawed out a little bit, then I was more into it.
Do you think it's a difficult time for comedy because people are infighting with one another?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think just for many different reasons, whether it's like the industry or just the actual temperature of the like what we can say and what we can't say.
Yeah.
And also even like being dark, like sometimes when I even talk about my weight and stuff like that, I feel people cringe, but I'm like, no, it's okay. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's okay to talk about these things and not feel
Yeah.
bad for each other and realize like that is our therapy. So
Well, one of the things about being a comic is standing up on stage talking about personal things. Sometimes that is comedy, because people connect because no one else is standing up on stage talking about that, whatever it is. Yeah. And you also as a comedian, just like as an actor, you kind of got to get yourself in trouble a little bit. Like if you're really, really doing it, you got to go to those places where you feel uncomfortable. And I'm always like, if it's mean spirited, then don't do it. But if it's something where you feel like people are going to connect with it and it may be challenging,
totally.
maybe you should go for it.
And I think about that a lot, like especially as a woman. I think, I talk a lot about like deliberately not wanting children. And I think there may be someone in the audience that's like desperately wanting a child and I'm saying blasphemy or like weight stuff. Everyone has their own issue with their body. And so like, I do think and recognize these things. And then I try to make it more that like, I'm the one that I'm laughing at more than anyone else. And like, so even if someone feels insecure about whatever I'm talking about, like it's not going to be shown onto them. It's like my own burden to bear.
Yeah. Oh, I totally know what you're talking about. You can't really have that thing in your head going, I hope this doesn't offend that one person in the audience or whatever.
Exactly.
I love it. There's a clip here where somebody fell asleep in the audience. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, very sweet little man, an Asian sweet
do
man.
it.
Sorry, are you sleeping, sir? Oh my God, okay. I was gonna say you're so sweet. If you are, like, honestly, nestle in my bosom, and I will like talk you to sleep. I love you. Honestly, like, if you want to sleep, that's fine. Honestly, I love you. You're honestly like so sweet. He's like sweetly drifting off. I'm like, if this is a lullaby where like you're sleeping to me talking about like celiac disease, like I will totally do it. It's fine. I wish the best for you in life. Yes, I have a.
That is so funny. Oh
So
my
that's,
god.
yeah, he in the front row, truly falling
He
asleep.
really was.
But I will never be offended by that because honestly, like, what if he came from working like 40 days in a row and
Yeah.
you know, like maybe he has narcolepsy, I don't know. But, and he was so cute and nice. So I still think about him from time to time.
I thought that was good too, the way you handle it too. It was just hilarious. I mean, because you were like, "Oh, you're so sweet."
He was really sweet. I think he was there by himself, and I just love it.
Oh my god. Tell me about this podcast called Dumb Blonde. What is
my
that?
gosh. So yeah, that is one of my favorite podcast clients that I work for. A few years ago, I got approached from the company that I work with called Podfly.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "Hey, we have some people that we want to work with. The guy is like a rapper named Jelly Roll, and his wife Bunny. They do a podcast, but they could be kind of crass and like kind of, you know, their material's a little bit shocking. And they were like, we think we know who to synergize them with. And so I started working with Bunny, maybe like, I don't know, a few years ago. And at that time, you know, she had a pretty big following, but now it has skyrocketed. So it's a show called Dumb Blonde, and Jelly Roll is now like a famous Grammy nominated or winning, you know, country artist. He kind of has gone more into country, and Bunny in her own right is a fantastic podcaster. And I've seen her like grow over the years in terms of her own podcasting abilities. And I love it. I love having clients that I can just write for completely. There she is. She's so nice to work with.
Really?
She has like an all-female team, and she's so badass. And like, it's so funny now because over the past year, I've seen them like now they're in People magazine and like, you know, huge news sources. And so I don't really like on my Instagram, I don't really trumpet the fact that I work for her just because I don't know. I just don't like people knowing too much, but like in a professional sense, I'm very proud. And so a lot of times when you see her writing on her podcast, that's me. But it's cool. It's like it's also she's also involved in it. So like I'll give her a lot of title ideas, and then she'll pick one. Like it's a very back and forth process. So
yeah. So,
but I'm so lucky to I love working with her.
How do you get involved with working on podcasts? You know how do people get involved with that?
Well, it's funny because, so the company Podfly was editing the podcast that I was doing at the Belly Up, like the one that I was doing. And I kept on warning them that I wanted to work for them. I'm like, I'm going to quit my job and please create a job for me. And then I keep my, he is great. And they're so nice. I feel like just approaching this comment, he's talking about Jelly Roll. Yeah. Like Jelly and Bunny secretly or not so secretly, like, they put people through college, like on the down low, like they're so unbelievably generous and like that, they're like that to work with too. But yeah, so basically long story short is I ended up quitting my job at the music venue. And then I just went to Podfly and said like, please make up a job for me. And so they did. And
that's cool.
That was that.
Yeah.
But now it's harder. It's the same thing you said about the podcast industry is I feel like in a weird way, there's like so many podcasts, but less and less actual opportunity and more jobs at like Spotify and iTunes or Apple, which I don't want to work at those places, but like not a lot of independent like producer jobs as much anymore.
Well, I suppose as it became popular, then some of these mainstream industries just said, oh, we're just going to make some podcasts. And they took all their people that they have on TV and they gave them podcasts. It seems like with a podcast, if you have some kind of following from some other advertising machinery, then you're just so much further ahead.
Totally. Or like a straight up niche where it's like, okay, we are true crime for women drinking wine, or you know what I mean? It has to be like such a niche thing. And I am fully aware that I feel like what my job is going to be one of those like phased out by AI in the next decade or so, because even like writing show notes, you know, like the podcast descriptions, that is something I've already had like a few clients just say, we love you, but we can do this for free with ChatGPT. So,
well, it's a dual-edged sword because I used AI to help me with my show since I'm a one-man band, essentially. Like behind me, I have an AI picture. And so it's like very empowering to be able to create things on the fly like that without a team. And it's also good for strategizing, but it's also it's taking away jobs, you know.
I know. And it's a good thing I have other things to rely on, like stand-up comedy, which pays in chicken wings.
Of course. That's a huge revenue stream.
Exactly. And like I need to pick one hobby, like investing or something like grown up, because all my hobbies like make $30 a month or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Well, at least you're not like it's not a single point of
Exactly.
break or
Passive
whatever
income.
whatever they call it. Single
No, I love
breaking
it.
point. You don't rely on just one person. You rely on millions of people.
Exactly.
Millions of people to do your thing. All right, let's see. I want to see what else I can show here. Oh, I thought this was really interesting. And maybe I'm just out of it. But hold on a sec. You're doing. Okay, here's one. This is fun.
Okay, you guys, I saw someone create a bracket of things that bother them, irritate them, make their nervous system unregulated. And I love that so much that I want to come up with that on my own. So I made this bracket. I went to a website where you can create a bracket. Didn't know you can do that. And then started my own. Okay, so first up, the one that I think is going to advance into the next round and maybe take home the whole championship for me is asking people if you could pick their brain. Pick your brain. That's the phrase, pick your
I hate
brain.
that too. Pick your
We
brain.
let that go and retire that. That's facing off against the feeling and texture of styrofoam, like the white packing peanuts or the styrofoam that's in a cooler. Can't take that. It gives me the
awful.
EBGBs. So
awful.
I think pick your brain's going to go with that next round. This is now that's going to be against alls I can do. It's all I can do. It's all I can do to really not jump out of my skin when someone says it's alls I can do.
Or it is what it is.
That's going to go against
yeah.
just when
It is
people
what it
look
is.
really stoned. For some reason, that just drives me crazy.
This was about
like,
my boyfriend because he
don't
takes a
stone.
lot of marijuana.
So probably pick your brain against alls I can do.
on the screen.
It's going to be the one. Next up, this is a tough one. We have hummus, just the texture of hummus.
There's me.
I'm so sorry. I know it's a delicacy. But that is going to go against like the human hummus, Anna Wintour.
Yeah, so bland.
You
her
don't like
vibe,
hummus?
Whatever. I love the sunglass look, but good for her. Not really my taste. I think hummus is going to go in the next round. We'll leave Anna behind. Next up, arriving too early and announcing yourself, like arriving a half hour before you're supposed to. And just texting that you're there and
it's
calling.
the
Like,
worst.
arrive when you're supposed to.
Just show up and sit in your car and wait.
That's going to go
You get there
against
early.
hasty honkers, people that when the
don't know
light
what
turns
this is.
green immediately within a second they honk.
Yes.
I think hummus is going to go against hasty honkers. So
I like this kind of thing because you did this and then you did that other one where you had potato dishes. Do you remember this?
No.
You had all these potato dishes and
and I was really
you were ranking them and you were so serious about it.
This is what I'll do, and then I won't post on TikTok for like 3 years, and then I'll try again.
But I like it because it's sort of like, well, here's the potato one.
let's rank
I don't even know how you do this. How do you even do it? Is there like an app?
Chips.
I think yes. I think I would only know what to do. I would only know how to do it if there was like a very.
Okay.
I think it was. And oh my god! I can't believe I didn't rank scalloped potatoes higher.
I know. Well, you were nervous that there'd be something better that would come along.
Yeah,
There's something. What did you call this? Like a hollaback or something? Or no? What was it?
The Holland. I forget. Hey, I can't believe who. I don't even know myself anymore.
You're like, who is that?
Number one, fries will probably be down low because I really don't like fries, or I don't care as much about fries.
Yeah. Well, you were like, people are gonna be mad about this.
This is really the type of quality content that I'm with.
There's some
school
good
for.
stuff. Yeah, this is what they taught you at Syracuse.
Yeah, totally. Oh, fries probably were down low. Ew.
This is like blasphemy, but
Let's see where it goes. 10. You put it at the bottom.
I'm still angry. I don't know what those are, but
Are those potatoes even?
I've never seen it. They're like the scrub daddy. They look like the sponge.
ketchup for dipping, but
That's got to be 7. But it should be like 10. Because that was.
I'm heavy breathing just doing this.
I think I truly like got out of shape, or I got out of breath.
See, and you,
I was,
that
I
you're
was-
screwed there.
I was irritated because I don't want sweet potato fries to be number
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, it's a terrible system.
I love this. This is a blast from the past.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me to I need to update my irritating things. I don't know about you, but like I feel very happy in life, but I also feel very highly irritated a lot of the times, which I think I need to do like a liver cleanse or something, that I'm very highly irritated.
I totally get that. Do you, this is a question that I have about stand-up comedy is sometimes you're irritated. You know, you go up and you rant about something.
Yeah.
How do you, what is the way you modulate between being totally angry to the point where people are like, what's wrong with this person? Or bring it into comedy? Because sometimes I do this, I'll rant about something and I'm just really actually does irritate me. And then I will kind of hone it into a comedy bit. But like, I wonder what the line is there.
I know, because sometimes I have a hard time even like embodying anger on stage. Like I talk about, I don't like when my friends send out a Christmas card and it's just their children on the card.
yeah, that happens all the time.
And I get very angry about that. But I feel like when I perform it, I don't come across as very angry. Like my words are, but probably my like demeanor's not.
Yeah.
So that is a good question. I feel like I haven't fully got into like the like Bill Burr angry rant. You know, I'm more like, okay, I've processed this anger out, but I'm now going to talk about it in like a happy way. Also, I love whatever's happening behind us. So I don't know if the people,
cool,
hummingbirds can see this, but
they can see it. Yeah. There's it's a carnival around here. It's a carnival.
But I feel like a lot of comedy does come from the things that we're angry at and irritated and, you know.
Yeah, I think so
and it's
too.
okay to be that way. I think our society like tries to just make it a lot like it's okay or be happy all the time. But I'm like, no. Don't. Like I hate in San Diego, everyone was always like, no worries. And I'm like, I have so many worries. And I'm so
Howard can't even imagine you being mad. Maybe that's yeah. But I you know, my wife and I were actually having this conversation last night about this, about maybe anger is not funny and maybe frustration is, because we're all mutually frustrated about things. And I almost feel like the social media is trying to get us to be more frustrated about things because it's throwing stuff that makes us click on it. And for some reason, we click on the stuff that we're frustrated about. I think, at least I do. I click on, you know, they'll say something like, you know, for me, it'd be like, people from Seattle are idiots. And I'll be like, why are we idiots? I have to find out why we're idiots.
I try to be like, okay, I know that this is just going to raise my cortisol levels. So I'll do that. And that's funny what Howard said too, because I don't feel mad a lot. I almost just feel like ruffled or like just irritated.
Yeah. Maybe sometimes I like to take a topic that I'm kind of mad about and be really mad about it. And that sometimes makes comedy as well.
I hardly get mad at other people. I'll get mad at myself if I like drop my fork like 8 times, or you know, like a little stupid, or like I feel like I'm very clumsy, so like just like tripping or falling into something, like I'll get that I'm mad in general, but I'm not like mad at a person.
Yeah. Do you experiment with different kinds of comedy? I mean, I know on TikTok you do because of those weird things that we just showed, but like sometimes, like I saw a thing where you were talking about, you were with somebody and you were talking about casting spells on them, like you were witches or something. What was that? Do you know what that was? You're casting a spell on Brett Kavanaugh or something like that. And
oh my God, really?
You were with somebody on stage talking about it. I don't know. You got stuff out there. You see, you don't even know it's out there.
Oh my God, did I cast a spell on Brett Kavanaugh? That's so funny.
It might have been the other person you were with that was casting the spell.
Oh, I know. Okay, yes, that was Brooke, and that was for the wonderful Samantha Hale, who I'm sure a lot of us know. She runs a show called The Horror Nerd at the Improv, which is all about like different horror. I feel like I'm saying that word weird. Horror,
horror is hard to say. It's hard to say.
Yeah. The horror house.
The horror house.
That was a thing. Yes, I love doing skits with my friends. That was with my really good friend Brooke Bergstahler, who's also another comedian, and we were playing witches. And we were pretending to cast spells, and I love doing like on stage. I love performing like skits and sketches, and like that actually makes me really happy too. So I hope I can do more of that.
Do you ever take classes at like the Groundlings or anything like that?
No. I know people that have, and they like it a lot. I did 1 or 2 improv things in San Diego, and then I quit when we had to circle around the room acting like we each had a different ailment, and just the thought of like all of us walking around like my back hurt or something, and I'm like, this I can't. I give myself the ick. I quit like that afternoon.
You also had a podcast that was called Campfire Shtshow. Campfire Shtshow. Can you tell me about that one?
I love it. I had it for 5 years with my friend Beau Hufford, and it was amazing. Like, we started out kind of wanting to interview different guests and have people on. We had a lot of great people on, and then throughout the years, like, our audience just told us, hey, we really just want to hear like your guys' weird life. And it would just be Beau and I talking, and Beau is also awesome. He's an artist, like a Disney art, he creates like Disney fine art, so he goes to all the Disney events. And then we ended it just because he has I moved up to LA, and then he goes to Japan a lot for work. So
I listened to the last episode, and he was like, he had bitten his tongue. And he said, I bit my tongue. And you guys had to delay the thing because he couldn't even talk. His tongue was he said there was a hole in it. And his tongue was so big. And then on the podcast, you were like, are you sure you didn't have a seizure or something? Which seems like pretty likely. Because why would you bite through your tongue? And then he started getting worried. And then he was going to Japan the next day. And you were like, I hate to travel when I'm feeling sick like that. And then the podcast ended.
I know. It was so funny because I feel like I was the Joe Jackson of us both, where I wanted us to keep going no matter what. And Beau's body was literally breaking down. Like his back gave out. He bit off a piece of his tongue. I developed hives.
Oh my God.
But I'm like, we have to keep recording. Like, I don't care if you're I would drive down at 3 a.m. to San Diego, and I still wanted to do it. And also a few episodes before our last one, I went through a really bad breakup with now we're back together, but I broke up with my boyfriend, and it was just like, I feel like people are like, is everything okay over there with you guys? And then I felt like it was a sign that we needed to kind of take a break. And
I was like, what? Maybe he died or something, because you didn't do the podcast where you're like, this is our final episode. And now we've decided not to do it anymore.
Truthfully, this is so ridiculous, but it was so hard for me to end it that I went total avoidant, and I didn't. We never did a final episode because it was too emotional for me to come to terms with the fact that it was ending. And so a lot of people wrote to us and said, and they were mad at us, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I couldn't bring it to myself to end it with Beau, or tell everyone that it was the end. And so we had people messaging us angry. I'm like, I don't know how people do the last episode, because I just didn't want it to really make it a reality. So I just
and you're also you're like, I'm still doing it, and you're not. That seems to be the tendency with the podcast, because most podcasts kind of peter out. They don't have it's not like Seinfeld where they're like, we decided that's all we're gonna do, and let's have a final episode, and on TV. And that seems to be, but it is also, the other thing about it is it's all about consistency. It seems, if you want to build an audience,
for sure,
consistency seems to be a big part of it, because people get it in their regular routine.
Yep. And
so when you start to falter, I had a podcast early on called Fat Free Film, where we interviewed filmmakers, but the episodes, I was like, every week I got to do it every week, and I was very militant about it. And then they started getting farther and farther apart a few years in. And then I would declare a new season, and then it wouldn't happen.
and then it is, because people started getting very hey, it comes out every Wednesday. I'm in my car driving. Where are you guys?
Yes.
That's something I'm trying to come to terms with, even just as a person, because I feel like the more I care about something, then I just if I had my dog that I love so much died, and I just didn't post my dog's dead thing. So it's all of a sudden one day you see me posting with my dog, and then we never hear from him again. Because it's just I don't know why, but it's very.
I don't like to do that either.
Really?
Post things like that, because people really, a lot of times that's the thing you're going to get the most hits on, which is horrible.
Yeah.
But because people care so much about, they care so much about their animals, and when your animal dies or something, or a loved one dies. But I just think it's so morbid, and how it's just there forever. The thing about my dog dying or cat dying or something like that, and it's so personal to me that I can't go there.
I know, same thing, and I think a few weeks after my dog died too, I was getting my hair done, and the girl asked me about my dog, and I'm like, he's fine. I'm like, she knew he was fine at home in a box, but he's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got into dead dog talk of the.
I remember burying my cat and I had to go to work, and I for some reason decided to go to work. I shouldn't have. I mean, I had just like my blisters were starting to form from the digging, which you're not supposed to do, but I buried it in my yard because I was like, this cat has to stay here. But I then went to work and I was just sitting at my computer blubbering away.
Yeah, it really is such a big
Oh
deal.
God, it's so painful.
But I think in the future, something I hope is to do a podcast again. But I felt like the dynamic I had with Beau was like one of a kind and so special that I seek a different type of podcast. Like I would never, I can't recreate what I had with him with like someone else. So I feel like maybe something that's a little bit more pop culture-y where I'm kind of like one of a couple people. Because I really miss podcasting so much, like personally, but I definitely don't want to like try to redo what we had.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys had a really nice rapport, and also it sounded really professional. And I don't know he was really good at that, huh?
That was him before his tongue.
Before his tongue killed him. Before he suffocated on his tongue on his way to Japan.
Yeah. He flies back and forth to Japan all the time, and it freaks me out so much because he'll have these he had these very weird, like his eye would just start swelling up out of nowhere. And I'm like, this is...
Speaking of that, you and Ginny went to Palm Springs, and you did a comedy show there or something, and then you decided when you bombed, apparently. Like, this is what you guys said. And then you decided, let's go get ice cream. You got 3 scoops of ice cream, had a hot day, and apparently you guys are lactose intolerant.
And we both said it to each other. Well, also, first, Ginny said that she bombed. She did not bomb. I saw her.
Okay.
We couldn't hear the microphones. So I could see her not bombing, but no one heard her, which is kind of like...
What do you mean you couldn't hear the microphone?
People in the back, it was a weird setup, so people couldn't hear us. But from what I saw, she didn't bomb. But it's kind of one of those funny things that I'm like, did you really bomb or did people just not hear us? But, we got a huge ice cream, and then halfway through us eating it, Ginny turns to me and she's like, I shouldn't my eyelid closes and stuff. And I'm like, me too. I get really bad sinus issues. And so we had it. And then the next day I was at work and I had to like take off the day and have a compress, and I was almost on antibiotics.
Oh no. That's hilarious.
Which is so funny, the cheese thing, the marinated cheese, because I don't know how people know that food is not good for them and then they just like stop it.
Yeah.
I continue to really just threaten myself with it.
Just go all the way with it. So do you think that, do you have like a roadmap for where you want to go? No, you don't do that at all. Do you do anything to visualize? Do you meditate? Do you do any of these things that are like, what are your rituals basically? And
yes.
And what's your philosophy on that?
Ooh, I love that kind of stuff. I love this so much because I really feel like I've learned over the past couple of years that like meeting goals is not something that necessarily makes me very happy. To have goals and achieve them. Mm-hmm. The ice cream was really good. It was worth it. It was worth my sinus busting open.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I think since I was little, I've been able to be like, I want to do this or go here and meet this goal. And like I was able to achieve those, and I did not feel very happy. I still felt like kind of anxious and like not satisfied. But what really helps me is to just be as aligned as I can be with myself, like in that day, and to slow down and to be present and to really like find joy in as much as I can, whether that's like in my biggest ritual is going on a walk every day. I have to go on a walk. That's like a non-negotiable for me.
Really?
Yeah, every day. I'm like a golden retriever where I like have to go outside for a walk. Otherwise I will have
Meryl has to be walked. Who's going to walk her?
My boyfriend knows, and he's so sweet, where I've just told him early on in our relationship, like it's my version of like an antidepressant. Like I need to go on a walk, even if it's not good weather or anything. So in that walk, I feel like is where I get a lot of my ideas, and I just will have more like visions. I definitely think more visually in my mind than anything else. And I just try to like definitely embrace the kind of artist inside myself. And that means taking myself to like different art galleries or, immersing myself in music that I like and getting outside of myself. But as far as career and comedy goes, no, I don't. I feel like I don't really know yet what would make me exactly happy, but I feel like I'm in the flow of it. Like I'm doing a lot of stuff that makes me happy, like this. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just about doing the things that make you happy. Sometimes, do you think that the stand-up is therapeutic?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like in both ways. I didn't really. Sometimes it causes me depression.
Yeah.
but
Why would it cause you depression?
um the feeling of not doing enough and just seeing sometimes
Oh, yeah.
the feeling of also like I love being friends with people and being friendly, and sometimes just being somewhat relatively ish like new to LA and stand up in general, just feeling like I'm not part of this clique, I'm not performing at this venue, like not really knowing.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like that's just completely self-imposed, and I think we all feel like
Well, and it's deceiving too, because you get a constant stream of people doing shows. If you're a comedian, all your friends, a lot of your friends on Instagram, because a lot of times we use these social networks to connect and get people to come to our shows and things like that. So as a result, it's just tons of comedy shows. And so it's sort of an illusion that everybody's doing shows constantly every night because you're looking at everybody.
Exactly. And also, honestly, probably something not having like a roadmap, like not knowing exactly where to put your energy, where to drive that night, what show to go to. It's kind of like confusing, and I don't want to just ping pong myself around, kind of with like no.
Well, and
result.
you don't even know whether there's going to be a result. Like, is doing more comedy shows, does that make you better, or is it like developing more material that makes you better? Is it doing open mics that makes you better? Like, it's different, and it's different for everybody. Like you say, going for a walk sometimes gives you inspiration that helps you write comedy and do the other creative things that you do. Sometimes when I exercise or take a bath, that's when I get these ideas. And you can't get those ideas, just purposefully going, I'm going to write, or I'm going to do this, or to do this creative thing. Darn it. This is the time. Like I write in the morning 750 words.
You do?
Yeah, I do. And Judy Carter said that. She said, write for 20 minutes, I think is what she said. And she just said, if you just write one word over and over again, it's fine. Just because it primes the pump. Murder. Yeah, murder. Yeah. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. No, but murder. But I don't think... I don't know whether it helped me or not. And sometimes I am so militant about not breaking the chain, of things that I wonder, is that also a problem,
Exactly. No, totally. And I think sometimes that's why I'm like, I have to like this moment and like what is happening right now. And otherwise I will truly drive myself crazy of like wanting to be out more and more. And it's just like, so I really do feel like in a good way, I like what's happening and I like everything. So
yeah. Well,
and like I have found too that in my life I've gotten more from having good relationships with people and just like than I have from actually like showing up to open mics and being really diligent. Like sometimes like getting on San Diego radio, I feel like was something I was able to kind of skip a line a little bit because I had a really good relationship with my co-host at that time. And so I think that has been like a through line in my life of just like, I'm not saying I'm not working hard, but just having like real relationships with people that I really like. And then that has resulted in good things.
Somebody said that to me about parties. Like you go to a party and there's,
and
you know how people like I'm networking and they got their cards or whatever they got going on. And somebody said to me, you just talk to one person.
Yes.
Just connect with one person, and then that's much better than just going around going, I'm a comedian.
Totally, especially like in LA, I have found too that being accepted, like being at a party in someone's social circle, then it's like, okay, then you'll also get more work, which is it's so weird. I feel like but I mean, I think I do have a little inner party girl inside myself. So in that case, I'm like, okay, I might not do open mics, but I could go to parties. So
yeah. Okay. And I think that it's all about, like you said, what makes you happy, maybe for some people doing that, networking or whatever, maybe that makes them happy. Maybe they want to meet. Exactly. Some people are very outgoing. And they feed off other people's, and I don't know, it sounds like they're a vampire, but they feed off other people's energy. And I always feel like I have to retreat. Like I go out, but then I have to retreat.
Definitely. Absolutely. I don't want to get stuck dry, as they say.
Stuck dry. Do you ever find yourself about to do a podcast and you're like, I hate myself. I don't want to do this. And you have to like get into like a different mood,
That's so funny. Not so much. I feel like I'm too I always joke about how like I don't have imposter syndrome, I have imposter syndrome, where I'm like I feel like I absolutely should be that. Not really hate myself, but more sometimes in comedy energy wise, where I'll be like I'm in like a shy, comfortable mood, where I'll just be, if a show starts at 10 p.m. or something, I'll just be like cozy at home, and then having to go up. But to me, it feels like immediately once I'm on stage and I kind of click into that. But there's a lot of times where like at night I just feel cozy and like very inside.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be at a show that I'm in and I'll be watching the other comics going, I cannot imagine myself up there right now.
Me, I have
Do you
that
get
too,
that too?
a lot of times. 100%. I feel like it's definitely a different, like I have a show tonight and I'm in like show mode, but if I don't, I'm kind of like jellyfished out. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I'm weird sometimes, or I feel weird sometimes about making small talk. Like I was at a party and I said Happy New Year to someone and it was like March, I don't know why. So I feel like that's where I feel like awkward, not performing or anything, but more just like sitting and having to talk one-on-one with someone. I get like my tisms come out or whatever.
Yeah. I like you had a video online. I don't know if you remember this one, but where you went through your day when you had a comedy show and you're like, here I am having my lemon and here I am doing this and here I am. And I thought that was kind of cool because I don't think people, who are not comedians I don't think and I think comedians too are like, what do I do during the day when I've got a show?
Yeah.
Do I need to be thinking about the show? Do I need to be working on it? What do I do? How do I have this other life especially if it's a show where you feel like there's a lot of pressure?
Yes.
How do I go about my day? And, do I just forget about that and then, worry about it? I always start to ramp up before a show, like a couple hours before a show. And then I start to like trying to get my thoughts straight. But then I kind of allow myself just to have the day.
Yeah. Same thing. And same thing with after too. Like I'll work on always organizing my notes and I'll kind of write out everything once or twice just so it's fresh in my brain. But I don't really like cram the way I used to. And I find too, especially like the next day, I'll call some of my friends on the East Coast, like my best friends who have nothing to do with comedy, who are moms and they're principals. And it's like, I'm like, tell me about yourself. I don't want to hear anything about myself. Or I don't want to think about it's nice to like get out of my head and also realize like, okay, I have a show, but there's also a trillion other things in the world going on. And in a way, like it doesn't matter that much.
Imagine how many, sometimes I do this when I have a show. I imagine how many shows are going on in LA at the same time. How many comedians are on stage while you're on stage? Probably like 100.
Yeah, and that helps me not get too high or too low, because even if I have a great set, then afterwards I'm like, okay, that was a great set, but think about there's a million people in Austin killing it right now, or like New York, so like don't get too,
Isn't
like,
that a weird thought though? But I think that's kind of true about highs and lows, that if you have these crazy highs, you're going to have these crazy lows. And maybe it's better to be just sort of, and also not to judge what happened, whatever. And there it is. It is what it is. There's it is what it is. But it's like, not go, that was a good show or that was a bad show. It just was a show.
Totally. And like with the show that Ginny and I did in Palm Springs, we got to do 20 minutes and I'm like, okay, that's 20 more minutes logged in our like overall miles of comedy, And so, and I think that would have been a show that I would have fretted about and drove home and like thought about, but now I'm able to really like put it away and just kind of move forward and learn from it. Like, you learn each thing every single time. So, or one thing at least.
Hopefully we do.
And then I forget it.
And then I forget it. I'm like, I forgot. Don't make fun of the comedian after me.
But I do even worse. Yeah, exactly. And honestly, hosting has been a big thing for me to learn, because I feel like that's where I get my like having to keep your energy up, having to remember people's names. So I feel like if any people haven't done that yet, I feel like hosting is a good like way to jump in and get even more.
I bet you're a great host.
Thank you. People say that, but I feel awkward sometimes, but I love doing it too. Thank you.
Okay, we got to end the show, and I didn't tell you there's a dance. There's a dance break at the end.
Do I have to dance?
Yeah, you have to dance. No, you don't have to.
Okay.
I'm gonna play. What I do is I play a cover song from somebody awesome on the internet. Ginny Sykes says Memento. Okay, I like the movie Memento. One of my favorites. I'm sure it pertains to something we said like maybe 5 minutes ago or something like that. All right, dance break time. This is a woman named Laura Curry. She's doing an Eminem song. And thank you so much for being on the show, Meryl. You're just a
It's
joy.
such a fun time.
Just
You're
a pleasure.
awesome.
Thanks a lot. You're awesome. You're yeah, I think you're a little weirder than Ginny. Maybe. I don't know. It's a contest.
But at least she's made her weirdness into like a journalism career. And everything. my weirdness is just like stuck floating. But
I think Ginny's more bizarre than weird. Bizarre.
maybe.
Yeah.
But her and I are both so dark. We're demented. We're both demented.
Demented.
Demento.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Dr.
Love it.
Dementos. All right. Dance break. This girl's cool. She's in England.
Trailer park girls go round the outside, round the outside, round the outside. Two trailer park girls go round the outside, round the outside, round the outside.
I like how she has all the instruments.
Guess who's back, 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 back again, again, again. Shady's back, back, back. Tell a friend, friend, friend. Guess who's back, guess who's back, guess who's back.
Thanks, Howard. Thanks for being here, Howard. Thanks, everybody, for
Howard,
being
I love
here.
You. Howard is so funny. Too.
He's great. He just reached his 40-year anniversary of being an airline. Why do I never know the word? I want to say steward, but it's not steward. Attendant, flight attendant. They had a show. Yeah, it is amazing.
That is so cool.
All right, this is
So
Laura.
talented, this girl.
Isn't she? She's got a YouTube channel. What'd you say?
I was gonna say this is another reason why I do love TikTok as well for like finding new artists and independent artists.
There's so much talent out
It
there.
really is. I love that. Like, I love
Yeah.
that TikTok is kind of an open source for now. Find that.
I love that too. All right. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. This has been Lunch Therapy number, who knows, 648? Something like that. All right.